This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Today we helped a
latte for Sam?
coffee shop get an insurance quote simply and easily, and made sure a floral delivery van was able to make someone's day. We're the Hartford, with decades of experience insuring millions of unique small businesses. When it comes to your small business insurance,
Thank you.
one size absolutely does not fit all. Get a quote or find an agent today at thehartford.com/smallbusiness.
All right, let's get right into it. Today we're talking about something tough, but it's so important: the hidden dangers of a long job search. We're going to break down why that ticking clock is not your friend, and more importantly, what you can actually do about it. So, let's start with a big question, one you've probably asked yourself if you've been on the market for a bit. When does searching for a while turn into searching for too long? I mean, is there a tipping point where the search itself actually starts to hurt you? Well, as we're about to see, the answer is a huge, resounding yes.
And that brings us to our first big idea, the job search clock. You have to understand that when it comes to finding a new role, time is absolutely not on your side.
Here it is, the core principle in a nutshell. It's a harsh reality, but the longer you're unemployed, the tougher the search gets. It's like this negative spiral that gets steeper and steeper, and your job is to break out of it. Okay, so as the weeks turn into months, this isn't just about how things look. No, real, tangible consequences start piling up, and they begin to chip away at your professional standing. The very first thing to go, your power, your leverage, especially at the negotiating table. Think about it. An employer knows you've been looking for a while, they know you need a job, and that knowledge completely flips the power dynamic in any salary conversation. Wow, I mean, listen to that. That's a brutal thing to hear, right? But it gives you a raw, unfiltered look into how some hiring managers think. They see someone who's been out of work and they think, this person needs this job. And just like that, poof, your power to negotiate for what you're worth just evaporates.
And then the silence sets in. The calls from recruiters just stop. Why? Well, recruiters know companies get skittish about paying a big fee for a candidate who's been on the market for a long time. So the professional outreach dries up, and suddenly you're left relying almost completely on your own personal network.
This loss of leverage, this growing silence, it's all building toward a really critical point. There is a specific threshold in time where the difficulty of your job search can just explode.
And that threshold is the 1-year mark. Now, this isn't some random number. It's a major psychological barrier for employers, and crossing it can have some pretty profound consequences for your search.
This quote really nails it. 1 year out of work is the point where things can go from just being difficult to becoming, well, dire. It signals a huge shift in how the entire hiring world starts to see you.
So why? What is so magical and terrible about 1 year? Honestly, it all comes down to perception. A hiring manager's view of your situation is probably way different from your own.
And here's where things get really tricky. It's this tale of 2 totally different perspectives. From your side, it's completely understandable. You're thinking, hey, the economy's tough, I got laid off, it's just bad luck. But from their side, well, they see it differently. They're looking at a stack of resumes, and they know other people are getting hired. So their simple and pretty cold question becomes, okay, so what's wrong with this person? And that question leads to this incredibly harsh, unfair label. Whether it's true or not doesn't even matter. You can start to be seen as damaged goods, a candidate that everyone else has already passed on for some hidden reason. And being seen this way has very real costs. If you do get an offer, it's often a step down, a lower title, less responsibility, and for sure, less pay. The company just isn't willing to pay top dollar. They'd rather get you at a discount, bring you in, and, quote, observe you for a while before even thinking about getting you back to where you were.
So, okay, you're facing this ticking clock. You're up against these really harsh perceptions. What on earth are you supposed to do? Well, the source material is crystal clear on this. There is only one way forward. You have to fight back with just an overwhelming amount of effort.
And that one way forward is to hustle. And we're not just talking about, working hard. No, this is different. This is a frantic, relentless, all-out blitz on every single part of your job search. This is really about a total shift in your mindset. It all starts with being brutally honest with yourself and admitting, okay, what I'm doing right now just isn't enough. From there, you have to find another gear, a whole new level of intensity, and then push yourself even past that.
And I just love this line. Hustle like your hair's on fire. I mean, you can just feel that, can't you? It perfectly captures the energy you need. This is not a relaxed walk in the park. It's a full-on sprint, driven by this gut-level sense of urgency.
And why all this intensity? Why is it so important? Because let's be real, this isn't just about finding a job. This is about preventing long-term damage to your career, to your future earnings, to your professional reputation. Everything you have worked for is on the line.
And that brings us right to the final question. And it's a question that only you can answer. Now that you've seen the stakes, now that you know how that clock is working against you, are you really doing enough to win this fight?
We all want to know, what makes people tick?
How will they make decisions?
Handle feedback,
And work
as a team.
The Predictive Index Behavioral Assessment reveals how employees actually think, work, and thrive. Like how Marcus fits in a role with structure, and Margot's strength is collaborating with others, because when we understand each other, work just works. Take the behavioral assessment today at try.predictiveindex.com.